Boys, what do you say we start the show? Welcome to the Simple Mind Sports Show, Fat Tuesdays. Ray, you want to get it kicked off with an opening take?
Sure. Hold on a second. Go to Bill first because I have to grab mine. I wrote it down.
No.
Okay, hold on.
Superstars are soft, NBA.
Nope, hold on.
You wrote the email. You forget it? All right, Bill.
That's your opening fucking take. All right, so I'll just throw one off the cups here. Bruins surprised me on their Canadian road trip. Big win, 3-2 against Edmonton, which I thought they were going to get killed, then followed up with a Vancouver win and a Calgary win. Showed a little bit of life. You've seen some good goaltending on an Ullmark finally, and then Swayman's been playing kind of lights out. You lead, I think you're number 5th in the NHL in goals against average.
Queen's Landing didn't pay his cable bill. Look how stupid he looks.
He looks real dumb. He looks very dumb.
All right, since he froze, I'll go. This is my opening take. It's our email of the day from one of our listeners. It is entitled Bill. It says, I just seen a video of you dancing to Silence of the Lamb. You did an awesome job, Bill. I don't believe you have an affair with my wife. Might be having an affair with my son, but not my wife. Signed, Big Ray.
Can you confirm or deny that the affair is happening with you? Or is this a different son?
I cannot. Well, he has a lot of illegitimate children, so it could be anyone.
Could be.
Hey, he's back.
I don't know what happened.
I do.
What?
Ray?
Pay your cable bill, you cheap fuck.
Maybe I get cable bill every month.
Okay, why don't you kick it off again there, or continue with your thought process on the Bruins there, Bill, and we'll clue you in on what Ray's opening take was later.
Okay, so good to see a good Canadian road trip by the Bruins. I just want to highlight their goaltending because there's been talks about Tuukka Rask coming back, but you're 5th in the league in goals against average. You're 1st in the league in goals allowed. There's no room on this team for Tuukka Rask. Stop entertaining the idea. Your goal, Ullmark and Swayman have both kind of came out of their early season funk and been playing a lot better. Just let it roll. You have bigger holes on this team than goaltending right now, and this cunt should not be back on the ice for the Bruins.
He was at practice today too, Bill, just so you know.
Before
he's
practice.
coming back.
Which is stupid. I just don't it just doesn't make sense. Like, if you look at this team right now, would you say goaltender is a problem?
Nope.
Then why are you adding a piece to the goaltending? You have defense is a problem. Your 2nd, 3rd, 4th line scoring is a problem. Your power play has been a problem. Goaltender, surprisingly, after the stats I just said, is not a problem, and they should not be trying to add Tuukka Rask. You're stunting the development of Swayman when you're throwing him down in Providence. The guy needs to play up here, NHL minutes, not in fucking Providence. Let him and Ullmark, unless you can move Ullmark, but I don't think anyone's touching his fucking contract. You just signed him for $5 million. So you're stuck with him for probably 2 years, and then you can probably think about moving him. So I just
Unless you swallow a lot of money, and even then, who's to say? Well, we can certainly get back into it. To move it along, I'll give you my opening take. It's Celtics. The water is boiling. The pot is stirring. And what I'm talking about is the split or the blow up or the destruction of the roster as we know it for the Boston Celtics looks to be on the cups of being destroyed. You hear the murmurs out of guys like Mannix is talking about it. Forsberg.
Mannix is the big one. You know, I was hearing.
He's been saying it for a while, but like to hear Chris Forsberg mention, like he's a fucking Celtics mouthpiece. So someone in that organization said, "Hey, you know,
this out here.
We might."
Can you be a mouth? Can you be a mouthpiece when you can only talk out of half your mouth?
Yeah, you can be half a mouthpiece. That's what I call your mother. So I just think the fact
was a Ray joke, not good.
The fact that those guys are hinting at it, I think they're getting murmurs from the front office, and go soften the blow here when this happens. Make it seem like it's a good idea a couple months ahead of time. So watch out for that. Could be the end of the Celtics as we know it. We'll be talking about their abysmal West Coast trip. Quick look around the NBA. We'll get into the Bruins and their road trip out west, and a quick look around the NHL, and we'll get a little Billy Fight Night on the UFC card over the weekend. I haven't talked UFC in a while, so welcome
to
the
night of fights
sports show, Fat Tuesday edition, December 14th. Welcome to the show.
I'll put that in the email to help you out.
Rich, you've been nailing the dates lately, baby.
Appreciate it, man. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, rate, review. If you're listening on the podcast, do the same. Always tell your friends and share it amongst yourselves. And always tell your friends to go down to White Perch Brewing in Nashua, New Hampshire. Ray, address, please.
460 Amherst Street.
Good side of Amherst Street and the best craft brewing in New Hampshire. Get on down there, get you the flights, get your pints, get your sours, get your porters, your IPA.
Triple IPAs. Ooh, boy.
Go do some time traveling with Raymond responsibly. If you can't get down to the brewery, then you get it at your local beer store. Wherever you get it, tell them the Simple Minds boys sent you. All right, let's start. Celtics, says Ray. They go 1-4 on their West Coast trip. The only win against the Blazers, who did not have Damian Lillard or
CJ McCollum.
CJ McCollum, yeah.
Yeah, I did a little weed before the show.
Oh, me too.
I can't talk. CJ McCollum, no Blazers. So they look like shit. Jaylen Brown didn't play the entire West Coast trip. They said said that they had rushed him back off that hamstring and he re-injured it, but he will be back tonight or last night, I guess, against the Bucks. Anti-vaxxer Josh Richardson out with COVID. A lot of COVID happening right now. It might be
a lot of COVID.
Hangover.
Bulls are done. Bulls are cancel out next 2 games.
Yeah,
dude, they have 10 guys on.
Yeah, it's crazy.
37 positive tests for the NFL today.
Yeah. Well,
NBA.
No, NFL.
No, the NFL had 37.
Oh, the NFL. No shit.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey and
Higbee.
Yeah, on COVID tonight. They got thrown on.
Well, the Celtics haven't had that excuse. None of them have been missing it up until now, except for Josh Richardson, who is a well-known anti-vaxxer. Raymond, I will go ahead and you can toot. I said that they'd end this road trip with something like a 2-3 or 3-2 record because that's the team they are. But they outdid me this time, 1-4. Congratulations! This is about what you said they do. Can we blame any of that on Jaylen Brown not being there, not having a full squad? Or are we just in full, complete elimination mode on this team, and it's just a blow up is around the corner? And by the way, breaking news: before the show, I did see the Celtics are fielding offers for Dennis Schroeder, so this could all be.
Which I thought January was the time that they could trade. I guess apparently December 15th, Wednesday is the day.
December. It's January for guys.
Marcus Smart.
You re-signed to extensions, but it's
I thought
December
January was
15th.
the big day for all of them, but no,
there's
December 15th.
different.
It's let's blow up again on Wednesday. But yeah, I feel like Jaylen Brown was the main source of this West Coast struggles. I mean, he is one of your better half of the team, your second superstar in the making. So yeah, not having him was a big
budding superstar. For you to say it.
Budding superstar. But that was a big letdown for them. But Jaylen Brown not being there. Tatum was, I believe, leading point getter, rebound getter, and assist getter in the last game against the Suns. The guy can't do it all by himself. He has nothing really to help take the struggles off his back. You know, he has to be the guy at all times, and it's just not a good look. He needs another superstar there or budding superstar to help him out. And Jaylen Brown not being there really hurt on this West Coast trip.
So would you say the Celtics are better with Jaylen Brown or worse with Jaylen Brown?
A healthy Jaylen Brown, they're better.
Oh, okay, cool. Just wanted to know.
Yeah, more talent wins out. They clearly miss. I mean, I think the last show we talked about the Celtics, it was the Clippers game, or was it the Lakers game that they blew?
Lakers.
They blew a lot of them.
Lakers game, they were
came
up
out on
half.
fire, and when he went to the bench, they had no answer. And this has been the story of this team without Jaylen Brown. And it's been the story of the team for a long time. Certainly without him in there, hurt. And we've only seen how many games have they played together this year? Like 13. Something like 300 minutes. Some stupid that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum played. Never mind the whole starting lineup. They've only played like 10 games together. So that seems to be the story for the past 2.5 years, ever since Kemba got here. Fuck that. Gordon Hayward. I mean, the injury bug and this, they just have not gotten right. And you're right. Tatum is. Look, we've been hard on Tatum, but he's playing well. Call him, say he doesn't know how to win, say he doesn't know how to close, but the guy's fucking balling out. Like he's playing well. Hopefully that's not like a Carmelo Anthony sign, Bill, where he can only be, a really good player in a really bad team. We've seen a lot of NBA guys like that. Obviously that's the fear, but right now, I don't know. It's too early to call him that. So we just got to say the rest of his team sucks, I guess.
Yeah. And just remember, Carmelo never started that way. His first few years in Denver were real good. I mean, when he was drafted number 3 overall, he actually took Denver to the playoffs, where LeBron did not make playoffs his rookie year. But anyways, I mean, I just think the way Jaylen Brown, the way Jason Tatum's playing, I think as green teamers, I know we're Ray's more of a green teamer than we are, but as green teamers in a whole, I think we're overvaluing Jason Tatum. I mean, if you think about it, I think we're putting him up there where he could be the player that could carry a team on a bad team, but he's not that guy. He doesn't have the skill set to carry a team, like will a team to the playoffs. Like even Isaiah Thomas, when he came to the Celtics, it was just about him, and he carried that team to the Eastern Conference Finals one year, and I just think they're definitely a different player, and I just don't think Jason Tatum's that guy. Like even LeBron, I mean, LeBron's a once in a generation player, but he carried that Cavs team in 07, I think, by himself to the NBA Finals, and I just think the way teams are, the way the media in the NBA is kind of overvaluing Jason Tatum and kind of putting him in that tier, like he should be the guy to carry a team like that. He's just not the guy. I mean, you need to surround him with talent. We've been saying that moving Dennis Schroeder might be huge if you can get a better piece around him. I just think I like Schroeder, but I think he's playing a lot of me first basketball, is not playing a lot of team basketball, and I just think he has no future here. You sign him on a 1-year deal. He's got a good trade value around the league. He's going to be a good piece for a contending team, but the Celtics aren't a contending team, and they're not going to be a contending team until you can surround Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum with a guy that has talent like a Bradley Beal or Damian Lillard that can carry this team, because Jason Tatum is not the guy to do it with the skill set. And we need to stop overvaluing him and trying to put him in that, top tier of, he's the number one superstar and can carry a team. I just think the way it's been going, I just think that's why everyone's kind of shitting all over Tatum. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, his expectations have been big for me for a while. I kind of laid it out to you last couple shows. Their expectations have been set so high because they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals basically in their first year with a team loaded with all-star veterans. And no one wanted to drop those expectations after all those veterans left. Maybe they should have. I mean, but still, the talent on this team, again, where I stand. I think they should be in the fourth. And honestly, they still could get in the top 4 if Jaylen Brown can stay healthy and they can get things rolling. The East is wide open. It's that type of sport. But you're right, Bill. I mean, Tatum's just not there yet in terms of a guy that can. And the will your teammates to be better is the big part, right? Because he can't do his numbers. He's certainly putting up numbers. He's doing his part individually. But we all know what the greats do. They make other people better. I mean, that's such a cliche, but that's certainly – it's a hard thing to measure in a player, but you can kind of tell Tatum doesn't have that yet. And I don't even know, like, how you don't – it's not something you develop physically on the floor. You just either earn it or get it, or it just kind of starts – a chemistry flows with you. And they certainly don't have that. And Dennis Schroeder is a big problem. But I love Dennis Schroeder as a sixth man who knows his role, but I think he's playing a little bit outside of his role. I don't want to blame it all on him. They need him. He's their second best scorer without Jaylen Brown. So, and he's not that type of player either. Everyone's just kind of leveled up without Jaylen Brown on the floor, and if they're asking a little bit too much of him. And the problem is that's your what's the word I'm looking for?
Foreskin.
You say
yes. That's the word you were looking for, was not?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Margin of error is what I was looking for, but I think they call it foreskin in certain parts of the country. The Celtics foreskin is that they can't afford to lose
that foreskin
any of their players because their talent is a little bit limited there. Do they look disorganized? Asks Ray. They shove a superstar back in there early who gets injured. Now there's an anti-vaxxer with COVID. Doesn't seem like problems the Celtics should be dealing with. I'll give you a quick answer. Yeah, they're not a cohesive team. They haven't been for a long time. They're not a cohesive unit. This is when you get shit like this. Everyone's not in it together for each other.
It's not like a Boston Celtics team either. It's like you're looking at like a Memphis Grizzlies or a Sacramento Kings kind of situation going on with all this, anti-vaxxer, guys not knowing their roles and just playing, me first basketball. It's just not Boston basketball. I mean, that's stupid to say,
we've seen in a really long time. The end of the beginning of the big three with Garnett and the end of the Paul Pierce solo show is the last time we saw that.
It reminds me a lot of, too, the old saying when the Red Sox back in the day, 25 players, 25 cabs. I mean, I just think a lot of that with the Celtics is, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, let's be real. The rumors are probably true. I mean, they don't get along. And I just think if the other team is seeing that, those are your two best players, right? Those should be your leaders outside of Al Horford. But I mean, Al Horford's Al Horford. But your two best players ideally should be the leaders, and they should be, they should be friends. They should be tight on the court. I mean, at least show that you're tight. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't.
I don't think it's a disconnect. Well, maybe it's a disconnect, but
I was cohesion. I think I was looking for that word.
But I heard a stat today that in the 300 minutes. Oh, what?
The assist one?
Yeah. They've only played in 13
6?
games together, and Jaylen Brown has assisted Jason
3.
Tatum 3 times. And the other way is 6. Jason Tatum has 6 assists.
They don't like giving each other the ball.
I've been saying it for 2 years. They can't play together. So I mean, if you're going to start,
I still don't understand it. Sorry to cut you off, Bill, but can someone look up how many assists Curry has to Thompson and vice versa? I bet you it's not that much. It doesn't. Someone go look up wing to wing assist. How many times has Paul George assisted Kawhi Leonard? Like, I think that's just
0 because he hasn't played all year.
There you go. What a fucking around the NBA.
And they re-signed him.
Kawhi Leonard. Just good God, he took the Clippers for a ride. I just like those type of players. How many assists? Well, LeBron James he's a point guard now, but like, you understand what I'm saying? When you're playing the wings, that generally is not corresponding together, but it should probably be more than that. It should probably be more than 3. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to make the shot, right? So I mean,
sure, people kind of forget that on the assist game. Jason Tatum could probably be averaging 10 assists if his fucking teammates could shoot.
Yeah. And as much as Jaylen Brown's improved every year he's been in the league, especially with the shooting, I mean, he's still a streaky shooter. He still, gets into these funks where he shoots bad. I mean, that's probably a lot to do with it. I mean, you got to make the shot. You're forcing up shitty shots. You got to make these shots, and those got to be why the assisted number. I see him pass plenty of times to each other. As they run down the shot clock and then have to, throw it up.
You go. I go. And the other part of the disconnect, you saw it in this road trip, is when the Celtics don't play defense, they're fucked. They're not good enough offensively. So you gave up 117 to the Lakers. You gave up 111 to the Suns. You were over 100 to all these guys. I forget the actual score. 114 to the Clippers. So you're giving up over 100 points, and like their interior defense is just fucking garbage. Like everybody and anybody was getting to the lane. There's no resistance whatsoever. And unfortunately, this is the inconsistency you see with a team that's disjointed. They're playing great defense earlier. That's how they're winning games. And then when they let that slip, they can't bounce back. Speaking of bounce back, the next 3 games for them are the Bucks tonight as we record, last night as this was released, the Warriors and the Knicks, who have a 3-game losing streak. Jaylen Brown back against the Bucks. What do you want to see, Raymond, from the season, this 3-game stretch?
I don't want them to win
4 straight. What are they on their 4th straight loss?
Yeah, something like that. No.
Yeah, they won
against the Blazers, so they're 2-game losing streak right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought they beat Utah, no?
Yeah, they beat Utah, but then they lost to Utah, beat the Blazers. They went 1-4 on their West Coast trip. But I don't want them to win this. I don't want them to go undefeated, no 3-game winning streak by no means. I just want them to see them gel. I want to see them work together, pass the ball to each other, engage with each other like they want to play basketball with each other, something that this team hasn't looked like all year, I want to see the Jays go out, play. I saw as we're recording this, Twitter's been blowing up. The first play was Jason Tatum to Jaylen Brown for a 3-point corner shot in. So yeah, obviously they're trying to get them working together again. But you haven't seen it all year. You've only played 13 games with each other. So let's see this group actually work together all week and stay healthy on the court.
Yeah, and it starts with the defense. I mean, Rich, you alluded to it. Their low post defense has been terrible. That 5-game stretch, you were 119.1 defensive rating. You were 27th in the league in that stretch. So that's how bad you've been playing defensively. Jaylen Brown's, borderline all NBA defender. Hopefully that brings something to it. You can bring that down. I mean, you got to get some wins here. This is a crucial stretch, especially after going 1-4 on a 5-game stretch. You kind of go, what was it with 10 games they're playing really? Or 7 games. If you start going 2-5, 1-6, it's over. It is over. And I think they alluded to it on the radio today. It was, would you rather get a top lottery pick or play a play-in game to get into the playoffs at this point in time? Because right now I'm going with that lottery pick.
Well, right now the 13th seed, like if the lottery was today or the draft was today, they're the 13th seed.
But you're in no man's land right now.
Oh yeah,
because you're not going to get a great guy picking 13th, 14th. So
you
it's
don't want the lottery. Not if Jaylen Brown's healthy. You want to win or you want to trade these guys and get assets back. You can't start over.
That's
You
the Danny
can't.
Ainge approach. You can't do that shit
You
anymore.
have,
You gotta
Jason
get
Tatum and
veterans.
Jalen Brown. You have two of the top, call it 20 players, one top 10. You can't start over. You just have to try and make it work. Like they're way far away from the start over range in NBA terms, like 2 years away from that. And then when you'll start hearing rumblings from Tatum to get him the fuck out of there, then we can start talking tank and things like that. But yeah, I'm with you, right? Just go out there and play some competitive basketball. And if you have a chance to win, don't blow it. How's that?
I like that.
Let's do a little around the NBA. We haven't checked in on this sport maybe all year so far. Here's your top 4 teams in the East. The Nets at 19-8, the Bucks game behind, the Bulls 2 games behind, and the Heat 3 games behind. In the West are the Suns at 21-4, Warriors 21-5, and then the Jazz and then the Grizzlies at 16-11.
Right, Grizzlies. Who the fuck would have saw that coming?
Ja Morant's playing real well this year.
Still only 16-11. Who's the pretenders? Who's the pretenders in the either league?
Well, Grizzlies, that's for sure.
You got to think Grizzlies.
There's no way they could keep up with that. You got the Nuggets, the Mavs, the Clippers, and the Lakers all right behind them. There's no way that one of those teams is going to be out of the 4 seed coming to playoff time.
I think the Wizards are for real, though. I mean, especially you're 21-5, and you can add Klay Thompson coming up here in a few weeks. The Warriors. The Warriors. I mean, they're definitely, what did I say?
Wizards.
Sorry, the
You're
Warriors.
A fucking idiot.
He has superhero movies on his mind.
Always.
Harry Potter.
I've never seen Harry Potter. It's not for me.
Hey, Bill, you're a wizard.
It's not for me, man. It's not for me.
I can't get into that shit.
Yeah, sure, Bill.
Never once seen one. No,
I'll give you a surprise pick here on these teams that might be pretenders. The Utah Jazz. You look at that team, and I like Donovan Mitchell. He's a badass, but the rest of that team are just a bunch of guys. They're shooting the lights out. Like we hit this on the last show. The NBA living and dying by the 3 and kind of ruining the sport. The Utah Jazz are living by the 3-pointer, and they're killing it. We've just seen this team kind of come up short the last few years, and I think it's because they lack that other guy next to Mitchell in terms of a superstar. Rudy Gobert is widely considered one of the biggest clowns amongst his peers in the NBA. Everyone
like one of the most hated.
Yeah,
he's like one of the most hated guys in the NBA.
Yeah, it's really funny actually to watch. Donovan Mitchell's legit. He's a 1, but who's the next guy? Joe Ingles, whatever, the Bogdanovich. Like, you just don't have. I mean, I like Conley, but I don't know. He's never been that type of guy either, and he's getting older. I just think, the 3-point shot runs out for them, they're in trouble.
I feel like the Jazz are more like the Bucks, though. They're a great regular season team, but once the playoffs come, they just turtle up and choke, and then they're bounced. Like every year, they're always like a top 3 team in the West, and then come playoff time, it's like.
Well, Donovan Mitchell got hurt last year, didn't he? Was that last year?
It was one of those years. It was either this year, last year, or the year before.
Up. He missed. Yeah,
tore his knee last year.
Though. No, that was
didn't
Jamal
he go to the
Murray.
Western Conference
Jamal Murray,
finals?
Sorry,
who went to the Western Conference Finals?
Denver.
Oh, it was Denver. All right, so yeah, it was Jamal Murray that got hurt. You're right.
Yeah, Denver had like 2 or 3 comebacks from down 0-2, 0-3 in the playoffs. But anyway, I just look at that Jazz team and go, I don't know if you have enough top end talent to compete, especially with the Warriors and the Suns, who are. Let's be honest, it's a 2-horse race. But I do expect LeBron and the Lakers to figure it out and make a run and push up. I don't expect the Clippers to, because Kawhi Leonard is MIA forever. Forever.
That's what a fleece job.
Fleeced.
Absolutely.
You should talk to college kids though and be like, this is how you make all your money and you don't have to play an NBA game. Just have that one breakout year and then you're fucking golden.
Dude, he won in Toronto and they were
fuck
calling
himself.
him the best player in the world, and he basically hasn't played since.
He's like, meh, I'm all set. I'm good, guys.
Well, they played their last playoff appearance where they had them both healthy. They wildly underachieved. Who did they lose? They lost like
they lost in the second round, didn't they?
Yeah, and to someone who was it? Either way,
it was Portland. It was Portland.
They look like
shit. It was Dame time. Wasn't that Dame time?
I don't know. We'd have to look it up. Our memory sucks. Simple Minds. Welcome to the show.
Mine is the Bulls. I don't think the Bulls have the longevity to make it all the way through the season. Yeah, they got DeRozan, they got Zach LaVine, and that Vucevic, but Ball too. But I just feel like the 76ers are going to make that Ben Simmons trade, and they're going to fleece one team. They're going to get some really good assets back, and the 76ers will be back in the top 4.
I have no faith in Doc Rivers and the 76ers and Joel Embiid.
I'm not saying they're going to win an NBA championship.
Especially COVID Embiid. You thought Embiid was a dog before, and now he can't breathe? Forget about it. Forget about it.
That's true.
Look,
the Warriors the other night.
That being the same, the East is so wide open. Like, I don't know. Anyone could come up there and be fighting in that 4th, 5th, 6th seed type of role. Yeah. So
it's crazy year.
It's that type of year. But this is probably a one horse race, if we're being honest. It's probably the Nets if Durant keeps playing the way he's playing. I mean,
what did he drop? He dropped 51 the other night.
And our boy's coming back.
Yeah, there's rumors.
I heard that. What's the news on Kyrie?
There's rumors he's coming back.
Yeah, him and KD are actually like talking again. So
he's caving. Is he caving? He's gonna get the
No, they're seeing the Nets might let him just play road games.
What a bunch of
pussies.
Oh, that should be fun. Just Kyrie on the road. I'm sure he'll do some fucking documentary and put it up on YouTube for everyone.
Oh, of course.
Me on the road.
Beating the system.
Society doesn't let me play my hometown that I came home for. I'm a fucking douchebag.
Trying to hold the man down.
I don't know why I did a lower voice. Doesn't he has a little pussy.
Like someone's squeezing his nuts.
Sorry.
I love how Bill paints a picture.
Yeah.
Hey, we're on the radio. You gotta spell it out to the audience.
Exactly. I like it.
Okay, well, that's around the NBA. Let's go over to headlines with the Queen.
Ooh, I get to do it again?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Patriots are on a bye week this week, but got some help from Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 33-27 overtime win over the Buffalo Bills. Bills are now 7-6, giving the Patriots a 2-game lead in the East, and actually they're out of the playoffs. Celtics lost to the Suns on Friday, 111-90. Jason Tatum was the leading scorer with 24 points. Rebounder with 7 and 3 assists. Right. Can you just put like 7 rebounds, 3 assists?
He was leading scorer, rebounder, and assist leader.
Anyways, the Celtics take on the Bucks as we record Monday night at the Garden. Celtics at 13-14 on the season. Bruins finished up their Canadian road trip on Thursday, beat the Oilers 3-2. Marchand, DeBrus, and Grzelcyk all the goals. Linus Ullmark had 41 saves in the win. On Saturday, they beat the Flames 4-2. Marshall, Lazard, Clifton, McAvoy each had goals. Ullmark another 40 saves in the win. The Bees are 14-8-2, and they play Golden Knights. And Ray has a small penis Tuesday night at home. And get your 269 UFC results and breakdown with me, the Queen, later in the show. This has been the Headlines with the Queen.
Damn it.
Good try, Ray.
I tried. I could tell it wasn't going to work because he was looking at me when he was reading the first part. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, and also, when he gets on that Billy ramble and he just starts mumbling through all of it, we don't actually know what the back half of those headlines were. His eyes are darting ahead by about 6 words.
That's how I read.
Rain Man. He's Rain Man.
We don't do that on this show, Ray. So let's move on to the Bruins talk, Billy Boy. Raymond's got some nice subjects here to talk about. He does not have the Tuukka Rask subject on here, though. So why don't we follow up? Why don't we follow up on your opening take? Ray and I are for Tuukka Rask coming back, if only for the quest for the butthole tattoo is back on for a 3rd year in a row. Just from a player standpoint, yeah, he can piss off. I don't. The idea of bringing him back. The idea of bringing him back sucks because of Ullmark. If he wants to be a $1 million backup goalie to Swayman, perfect. You have the ideal situation with cheap goaltending like they should have done in the first place with Vladar. But that Ullmark contract is going to be fucking. You got to hope for an injury. You got to hope for an injury from a contender.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe you could swing something.
But I mean, like I said, he has been playing well. He faced 85 shots the last 2 games. He only gave up 1 5-on-5 goal. The other 2 goals Edmonton scored were on the power play. So I mean, the goaltender's been playing well lately. But you don't need to add Tuukka Rask. You need scoring. You need defense, and it's just, for you guys' it's quest. But I mean, again, the Bruins have bigger holes on this team than goaltending right now. They really do, and it just doesn't make sense to take up a roster spot. It doesn't make sense to shuffle Swayman down because, again, you just threw out your fucking plan. Your plan was to go out, get a veteran goalie, and give the reins to Swayman. That is why you traded Dan Vladar, because if it wasn't, you would have kept Vladar and put Swayman down in Providence, right? Because you had to keep Vladar. You couldn't send him down there, right? So I think in that instance, you probably, okay, cool. Here you go, Tuukka. But I just think you're killing the
They
kids'
don't have a
confidence.
plan, Bill. They don't have a plan.
That's what I'm saying. You don't have a plan.
They're
And you're killing the kids' confidence, sending them back to Providence.
they're just bullshitting. They're reacting. They're not proactive. And we know why. It's because they've been dragging this mediocre roster across the fucking coals for the past 3 years. I've been saying trade Krejci, Chara, Tuca, all those guys 3 years ago to try and get something in return so you could build from the bottom up, and they have nothing.
No one wanted
at all.
Tuca in that contract either. That was the biggest problem. I think Krejci had value, but again, you're trying to please the Jacobs. You're trying to go for it. You're trying to, Sweeney.
Well, they
Neely,
still are. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They still are. This is the deal with the Tuca thing. They probably think that he gives them more of a steady goaltender presence. Even though the Bruins have been good, if you want some statistics, they're 5th in the league in goals allowed per game, and they're I think 26th in goals in 5-on-5 goals per game. So yeah, Bill, it's not the goaltending, and it's not even really the defense. Apparently, they can't fucking score. They cannot score. And has Cassidy really done anything about that? Those top line fuckers still playing with each other? Come on.
Yeah, you got to start putting Pasternak on the second line, see if you can get Hall going. But again, you shouldn't have to do this. You went out and spent money on, Taylor Hall this year. You gave him $5.5 million, I believe, over 4 years. I mean, you expect him to produce right away. I think he has 2 empty netters and like 1 goal in game 2. Right? He hasn't had many, and it's just. And he has 2 on the power play. So I mean, you brought him in for 5-on-5 scoring, and you're not doing it. And it's a shame that you had to fucking back-to-back games. They didn't have a shot the second line until the third period. Pathetic. In the last 2 games is pathetic. And again, it goes down to it. This first line can only carry you so far. And you see what happens in the playoffs when any team you play stacks their lines to face the first line, because 2, 3, and 4 lines. They don't scare him at all. And you saw the Islanders, you should have been, even Tampa the years past. Like, you had a legit shot at Tampa in the bubble, and you couldn't do it because you have no secondary scoring. And like, that's a bigger hole than trying to add a goalie.
Definitely. Can I give you a little toot there? That second line, I know Taylor Hall gets all the headlines, maybe rightfully so, for his underachievement and, I guess the salary, but not really. He's on a good deal, or he should be on a good deal if he was producing the way he's producing. Charlie Coyle is a third line center in the NHL. He is not he's not a second line guy. I think that question has been answered. And I guess my toot is you should have went after Eichel, because you need a second line center and a future in the Bruins system. And you should have dumped whatever you needed to dump to go get that kid.
He's skating. He's playing in like a couple of weeks too.
I have a question for both of you. So obviously it's inevitable. Tuukka Rask is coming back no matter what. And we're all saying Linus can't be dealt because of his terrible contract. What if you trade Swayman? I mean, Linus is 28. You're going to get more bang for your buck for Swayman. You could go out and probably get a starting second line center, and you could probably get really good prospects back if you trade Swayman.
I don't think you're going to get a second line center for Jeremy Swayman. I think goalies, you could plug and play goalies. Matt Murray with Pittsburgh won a Stanley Cup and just got waived out of Calgary or somewhere on a huge contract. I mean, these guys come and go unless Swayman developed into like a fucking, Henrik Lundqvist or guys like, and on that echelon. I mean, you're not going to, I wouldn't, if I'm a contending team, I'm not trading a top line center for a rookie goalie like this. And even if I'm a rebuilding team, I mean, you think he's up in year 2, right? So that's cheap money. Unless you really believe him, you're going to start getting him. You're going to have to start paying him soon and start paying him bridge deals. And Allmark just got $5 million. If I'm Jeremy Swayman, that's my benchmark right now on that team.
The only thing that I wouldn't trade Swayman either. I just think too young, too talented, but in the contract, the only thing that you might be able to get back, again, if you want to please the Jacobs in terms of talent, maybe not a second line center, but if there's an aging, expensive center out there on a team that doesn't think that they can compete, you could see that guy. You could see that guy getting moved, or I could see that guy getting moved for a young goalie on a cheap deal. But is that what the Bruins need? No.
No, because you got to get younger.
You don't need another old guy that's going to cost you money, and you'd have to, you're up against the cap anyway. So, they didn't have a plan. It kind of simple, not to compare the two, but like the Celtics thought they had a plan. Now they don't. Now it's just waiting for the next steps. And what are they going to do? Speaking of next steps, great segue. Jake DeBrusk asked for a trade a couple weeks ago. Since then, has played pretty well. Why do we think that is? And what the fuck are the Bruins waiting for with that trade value probably as high as it might go? Knowing Jake DeBrusk, he could turn into an absolute zero tomorrow. So
bag of pucks was not something that Don Sweeney thought was a great trade prospect back for Jake DeBrusk, maybe.
Yeah,
are all their dryers working?
around the league.
Are all their dryers working up to efficient status?
Do you need another cleaning person for the jerseys? Just let us know.
I think a lot has to do with his contract. He's 4.85 million this year, I think. And again, he's got no value right now, which is it baffles me that there's actual legit interest. I think there was 10 teams in on him when he requested his trade. I don't know if it's, kind of like a Danny Ainge syndrome with Don Sweeney trying to overvalue his own players.
It's a Ben Simmons issue. It's a Ben Simmons thing. He thinks he's the fucking next greatest thing in hockey, and no one wants to give them shit back for him.
They could get a third round pick for him. If there's 10 teams interested, legitimately interested, they could bid that up to a third round pick, and that's what they should take.
I'd like a player, honestly. So
you want to establish player. You want to establish player that you know you can get for.
Sucks. Can't be a chooser beggar.
Yeah, he sucks. I'm out. I've been wanting him gone for 2 years.
He has, shown this spark, and he's done this before, and the Bruins had opportunities to capitalize on it by moving him, and they didn't. And now they've watched his trade value go to pretty much zero. So he's on a high. Trade him. What are you waiting for? Get him out of here. Open up that cap space anyway. So maybe you
know what they're doing. You know what they're doing. They're like, look at now he's succeeding. He thought that he was on his way out. You want to trade, and look at now he's got confidence again. That's what they're doing. They're fucking dumb.
Yeah, no, it might be a Danny Ainge Sweeney thing. That he's their last hope for that 15 draft, and it's like, you
had to bring that up with Bill. You had to do that.
Sorry, Bill. Let's change subject. Their next three games: the Bruins, Golden Knights, the Islanders, the Canadiens. Islanders, Canadians, both last in the divisions. What's going on with the Islanders, by the way?
Because they had to dump a bunch of guys. They dumped a couple defenders, brought Chara in. Like, that's a big issue there. They're beat up too.
2-1 this week, Ray believes is a good outcome. I don't know what that last question. Do you think spacing we already talked about that. But what do you want to see from this week here, Bill?
I'd like to see 3 wins. Get the fucking second, third, fourth lines going. You need to see some secondary scoring. Again, this number one line can't carry you. And especially Golden Knights are a pretty good team. They were the second, third round last year in the Western Conference Finals. I think they were number 1 or 2 seed, kind of flamed out, but they're a good team, and they just added Jack Eichel. He's not there. Canadians, they're terrible this year. I think there was a fluke run last year. Carey Price hasn't played, so they're pretty down. I mean, you should be able to beat them and the Islanders. The Islanders play it tough, but they're last for a reason right now. They're lost. Right
Do we
now.
think they got their swag back, Raymond? From that West Coast swing, the Bruins.
Oh, the Bruins, yeah. But real quickly on the Islanders, they moved into their new house, and they still I don't think they have won a game there yet. And that's what the Bruins play this Thursday. So yeah, that'll be a good one. But yeah, maybe that's the little West Coast trip. They had a time to bond. They played well. They went 2 or 3-1. So yeah, maybe they had a little time to bond. They're gelling now. Something the Celtics aren't doing. Maybe the Bruins finally figured it out on this little West Coast trip into Canada. So
you better hope so, because coming up in February, you got the Olympics. So after the Olympic break you got a crunch schedule. And the Bruins schedule is already pretty fucking truncated, considering they played the least amount of games
they had
in the
3
year.
bye weeks at the beginning of the season.
So, I mean, here we go. It's going to be a long, tough road to the end of the season, especially with an older team.
Don't worry. They got backup goal. They got backup coming in. Their goalies.
Oh, cool. So you lose games 2-1 and 3-2. Awesome.
I'll watch them carry 3 goalies just to get Tuukka back on the team.
Yep.
They legit might.
Let's take a quick look around the NHL. Your Panthers, Maple Leafs, and Capitals lead the NHL with 40 points right now. What's your best teams in the league? Look, off the cups power rankings there in the NHL. Ray, why don't you give us your favorite teams hockey, Ray?
I'll go Capitals. I think the Capitals can do it. I mean, they won the cup about 4 years ago. I mean, Alex Ovechkin's on his last leg. Maybe the Capitals will keep this going. He's on his way out the door. I think he's almost 40. So yeah, I'm going Capitals. I'm going to say Capitals the best team in the league.
Do you want to tell him, Rich, or do you want me to?
No, I don't want to tell him anything.
Well, Ovechkin's 33, I believe.
No fucking
34.
way.
I think he's a little older than that.
He's not on his way out. He's not close to 40. He's chasing Gretzky's
I thought
record.
he wanted to go to Russia.
He just signed a new
he just signed a big
5-year deal.
And these guys
making
play
stupid money.
well into their 40s.
He's chasing Gretzky. He's 128, 138 goals.
He's not
away.
retiring.
How old is he, cunt bag?
It's like
I'd say
35, 35.
Oh, now we're just going up. You started at 32. Now
No,
he's
I did not say
35.
32. It said 30, 33, 34. How old is he?
He'll be 37.
So he's not 4. He's still got a good
Making
5
that
years
shit
left
up.
in him.
No, I'm not. He was born September 17th, 1985.
So he's 36.
Yeah, he's going to be 37.
Next
One
year.
day I'm going to be 67.
No.
Bill
Bill-
was 67.
He'll never see the light of day at 67.
I don't believe it's the Capitals. I think that's a stupid fucking pick. I'll give you a couple to go with. Hard to deny what the Panthers are doing. 14-1-0 at home. They're big. They're powerful. They're hard to play against. And it's going to be really hard for you to pull me off of Tampa Bay as one of the best roster in
Did
the
you
league.
say the Panthers first?
Yeah, they're good.
You shit on my Capitals take and you're taking the Panthers?
Because I'm right and you're wrong.
Okay.
The Panthers didn't lose. What'd they start? Fucking 8-0 or something? 9-0?
Beat the Bruins twice, I believe.
Dominated the fucking Bruins. They don't have any big stars, but how do you pronounce the Borowski, whatever? He's playing pretty well. If you just go look at that team, they're just big and hard to play against, and they play well together. They're 14-1-0. What do you want to deny Mr. Dr. Big Mac's power rankings in the NFL, putting the fucking Denver Broncos on there for 5 weeks? They're 3-0. They're good. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Behind that, I'd give you Tampa, the Leafs as the best rosters, and don't sleep on Colorado. I like the Avalanche. They've underachieved for years, but McKinnon is kind of. Do you guys remember that press conference he had when they got knocked out in the playoffs last year? He was like, "I'm sick of fucking losing." Like, I think they're dedicated and ready to win.
Landeskog just got hurt for Colorado. He's going to be out for a few weeks.
Yeah, I think the best offense in the league, though, Bill. I mean, they're
fuck yeah, Edmonton.
Injuries and they're.
I honestly put
Makar, kid's a fucking beast. Edmonton
deserves to be in the top 5. Nugent Hopkins is playing great. Who they re-signed. Draisaitl and fucking Connor McDavid are just disgusting. I mean, they could have easily beat the Bruins. They scored 2 power play goals by Draisaitl, and that team's scary. You want to talk about a team that can run 2 lines? I mean, you got 2 of the top 7-8 players in the league right now, and they both play on different lines. And you can't. Bruins can barely put the one good line. So I mean, they can't get a second line out of the last 3 lines, and it's like Edmonton's got to be up there. They're top 5 to 7 team in this league right now.
Bruins did beat them though on that last West Coast stretch. All right, Billy. Fight Bill. Billy fights. Fight Bill.
Fight guy.
Billy Fight Guy. Thank you. UFC 269.
Nice.
Have we won that one out yet?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Fuck no.
UFC 269.
Nice.
Bill, take it away.
Manny Nunez, pretty much, she's a double champ, the champ for probably one of the greatest UFC women fighters of all time. She was minus 1,100 favorite and lost to Juliana Pena, who got submitted her in the 3rd round, which is one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. I'd put it probably Matt Serra, GSP was probably the biggest upset, but I mean, this huge.
Holly Holmes.
Huh?
Holly Holmes against Ronda Rousey.
Yeah,
wasn't that like a big or
it was big upset, but it wasn't like it wasn't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think the Nunez Pena fight was bigger, but yeah, the Matt Serra George St. Pierre was like probably the biggest upset. But Charles Oliveira defended his belt against Dustin Poirier, kind of submitted him in the 2nd round after he just came off 2 wins from third round. Sorry,
he said kind of submitted him in the 2nd round. Right, it was not definitive. He was getting there.
Yeah,
stop interrupting him.
3rd round, which he just came off 2 back-to-back solid wins over Conor McGregor. So, I mean, Charles Oliveira looks like he's going to fight Justin Gaethje next, who's just coming off a nice win over Michael Chandler. So, I mean, I thought it was a pretty good night of fights. I mean, especially Nunez, man, that's a huge fight. She got rocked in the 2nd round, late in the 2nd round, and then Pena just took her to the ground and boom, submitted her. That was surprising to see. I think at one point she was plus 900 or plus 1,000 so as an underdog, which is insane.
That is insane.
That's not.
Doughboy, your thoughts?
Great night of fights. I'm glad it made Bill happy. It was a great night. Sugar Shane O'Malley won 1st round TKO. That's good to see. He should be getting a opportunities sooner or later.
Yeah, he needs to fight some real competition. He keeps fighting nobodies, and the only real competition that he fought, he broke his leg and lost. So, even Dana White's saying it. He's not there yet. I mean, the Wolf needs to kind of get back in. He fought last card, but he's looking to get a fight, and they're trying to fast track him. And O'Malley's kind of hanging low.
Ooh.
He's a monster. I think he's outstriked opponents 250 to like 4.
Did you say strike?
Outstruck.
Ray's mom outstroked herself last night and couldn't believe it.
Hey-o.
She hasn't worked that hard in a long time. This has been the Silvermine Sports Show, Fat Tuesday edition, December 14th. See you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Stroke. All hands on deck.
All hands on Dick.
That's
He'll
tomorrow.
stroke him. He'll stroke him. Beautiful thing.
Just like hand went limp. Can't go anymore. All stroked out.
Stroke.
Woman.
Oh, before Bill comes, let me set the mood. Hold on. Power. There we go. Perfect timing.
God, your strip club looks stupid.
Perfect timing.
Are we only doing one show? I only got one email.
You got 2 emails.
I only got one email. Nothing so far.
Fucking podcast studio AC. I just got it again.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, okay. Perfect. There might be a number 2 next to it because that's the second time you got in the same email.
Nope, it's not.
Does it say 2? Oh yeah, it does say. No. What are you talking about?
Mine only says 1.
I was being a cunt. I'm just being a cunt.
I just checked my trash, everything. I didn't get it.
Did you check
You
your
get a trash?
Sun folder?
When you selling that Queen's Landing, Bill?
Realtor was here today. So probably like a month and paint it and then throw it on.
Did you tell them to pack before coming over?
Oh yeah,
Strap.
here.
I think it's called strap.
He knows.
Strap?
Mhm.
Packing?
He's accustomed with Queen's Landing and the.
It's not his first
area.
rodeo. It's not his first rodeo around here.
So he doesn't have a big problem with the overall pussy and ash smell.
That's what new paint's gonna cover right up.
Get that odor killing paint.
Yeah.
Those are around.
Yeah. Makes sense.
The good thing is I don't have a lot of carpet or anything. It's just hardwood, so it's easy.
So
to
is
get
your
the
mother.
smell- a good one. It's easy to get the smell out.
Not her.
Nope.